welcome in. It is day 57, and you're speaking with the Meeples Champion. You know, I go back and forth. Large games, small games, games that are newer, games that are older, different types of mechanics in the games, different types of popularity in the games. And on occasion, I mention that a game is considered to be one of my favorites. Well, there's one game that I had to hunt down. This game was not available anywhere. It was out of print. I had one opportunity to get it, and I passed it up, not realizing how rare it was, and then could not find it for years. It wasn't until many years later that my wife surprised me, having hunted it down and ordered it directly from Germany to get it for me. That game is The Name of the Rose. It would not surprise me at all if most, if not all, of the people watching this video right now have no idea what this game is. But let me tell you right now, it is one of the best games you will ever play. Now, that is depending, of course, with all games, on the gamer group you're a part of. This game is interesting because the concept of the game essentially comes down to hidden role. But it plays so different. Usually hidden roles tend to be more of a party game, like The Resistance or, Mafia. But this game is set up in a way where everybody is different monks in a church. At the beginning of the game, you can play from 2 to 5. I recommend playing at optimal size at 5. You all draw a random card. Even though only 5 of you are getting a card, there are 6 cards, and all 6 players will be in the game. So, you have 2 different tracks, and you have a bunch of locations to go on the board. You're going to get cards, and the different cards are essentially going to allow you to either move anybody you want to a building or move any color you want anywhere you want them to go. When you take somebody to that particular location, you are going to then be activating, basically having to choose one of the tiles there. You're going to have to activate whatever its color and number is, either in a negative or positive way. And this is going to affect down on the bottom track, which is the round track. Basically setting up for your suspicion, moving people up and down, and at the end of the round, the end of the day, when the day is complete, based on your placements on that track, you will then move your people on the upper track. You don't know who everybody is, and as each day goes, you're flipping over tiles which are activating a specific rule for the day. There's a boatload of tiles in the game. I want to say there's close to 15 of them. You're only using 6 because there's 6 rounds total. And it's going to be changing up how the game plays. You might find yourself in a desperate situation because suddenly you thought you had a game plan that was going to work, and the game completely changes things, and now everything you do affects the top only, or suddenly everything you do is going to be double points. But the bigger deal is that after day 1, after day 3, and after day 5, you will have to reveal one of the colors that you are not. So you play this game out, you finish up 6 rounds, and at the end of the 6 rounds, the bottom track no longer matters, and all that matters is the top track. The top track will have the end of all 6 days scoring, and you'll all be placed on it. But then, you're going to take back the colors that you flipped over. Everybody will know who everybody else is, so that's not a worry. You're going to essentially, if I've revealed I'm not blue, and I'm not white, and I'm not gray, then those are known. I can't just flip them and nobody knows. They have to be known. But you're going to take those, you're going to flip them back down, and you're going to shift them out, accusing people of who you think they are. So you're trying your best to stay hidden in this game. You can go with other strategies. You don't have to be 100% hidden, but you need to keep hidden. At the end of the game, now after you've done all the other scoring, you flip these, and every time that you get somebody right, you're going to get 2 points, which means there's a chance that not only could you get a quick 8 points, you could also prevent 2 points a player if you do a really masterful job of hiding, especially since there is one color that nobody is. So if you're able to convince everybody that you're that color, essentially meaning, can you figure out enough clues early on to make an accusation of who isn't a color and say, okay, I know nobody's red, so I'm going to try to do the best to make it look like I'm red because it's going to be really fishy. And then you try to draw them in and try to cost everybody those points. So let's jump into this game. Let's talk about it and see where exactly it ranks when it comes to my actual 7 judgment factors compared to just my personal like. Step 1, art. Listen, I love this game, but its art is not the best. The box, there's nothing special about this box. It doesn't sell the game. It, I suppose, shows the theme, but it is not the strongest. And I don't feel the art on the board or on the cards is that great either. There's a reason that this game never got a second run. There's a reason this game is unknown. It's because they didn't really think, how can we keep that theme but also make it appealing? They could have done a better job. I don't think that the artist is bad. I just think that the art doesn't appeal to most board gamers. So it's a thumbs down on the art. Components. They've got wooden components for your meeples and your blocks. They've got the little cardboard components for the different pieces next to every building for your different colors. And they've got your cards. It's all great. No complaints. It's going to hold up. It's held up for me for many years. Thumbs up. Your price. You're never, ever, ever going to find this game in a store. Your only chance is online. And guess what? It's going to be expensive. My wife got this for me for over $100. Today's shipping, you're probably talking about $120, $130 if you can find it. It is not worth the price because it's way too high. If you find a group of people and you've looked up this video and then you found out how to play and you really feel that the game is worth it, invest in it as a group. Do not buy it individually. Thumbs down. Difficulty. It's not that difficult. I think that the game is pretty straightforward. I think that, you have to learn how to master it. But when it comes to, can I put this game down, explain the rules, and play, I think the only thing that threw me, and has thrown people in the past, has been when somebody's trying to figure out those round-to-round extra rules. That can throw you a little bit. But outside of that, everything else is very straightforward, I feel. And it's just a game of really masterfully playing with your mind. So I think it's a thumbs up on the difficulty. I'm not going to lose somebody who's a beginner, or a kid I wouldn't invite, but a beginner I think can play. Replayability. I don't get this to the table much, but it's because there's so many games, and it's not one that is matched up for my friends to pick often, but they all like it. I think that if you have a group that enjoys the game, this is one that could make it multiple times in a night, and could easily be picked multiple times in a year. So I think it's a thumbs up from me on replayability. Your keys to victory. Now, I told you, primarily, the idea is to keep hidden and try to slowly, basically, let other people give you points. But you can go in other directions. I've won this game by just plain out saying, screw it. I'm going to make it clear that I am blue, and I'm going to shoot for the moon and just keep on getting every point I can get. And the end of the game, I've had a game where everybody clearly knew it was me and it didn't matter because nobody else had committed and I was so far up on the track. And I've had a game where everybody had no clue it was me because they were like, there's no way that he's shooting himself up that high. So it's worked for me. It's also backfired. I've had other games where I said, do you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to target whoever is in the first place and I'm going to wreck them. I'm going to keep bringing them back all the way until they're in last place. And then I'll jump to the next one. And I literally wouldn't make a shift in the color. If it was me, I would have committed to an attack on my own color. Why? Because it made it so nobody had a clue who I was. And people were not sure what to do. So since they didn't want to help their own colors, they were helping other colors. And every time I heard a color, it was going to make it less and less likely. And it made them think I was more so in the back of the line in the first place. And that's why I was committing to this strategy. There's a lot of ways to go with it. At the end of the day, it's all about the mind and how you can trick people, how they perceive what you're doing and what it means. So I think the keys to victory are a huge thumbs up. Lots of options. They're all viable. Unique. This is one of the most unique games I've ever played. I've never seen a game that is set up as a board game, that's hidden role, that's slow reveal, that's being able to affect each other, that has dead players that are in the game, but you couldn't, basically they could technically win. The rule with this game tends to be once you get to the end of the game, you remove that character, and whoever is first place is the winner. But if you want to make it really crazy, you could have it be a group loss and say, hey, if you can't figure out who that is and they get first place, well, then the unknown wins. It's your call. It's just an extra difficulty level. But I think that this game is extremely unique. It stands out from the bunch, and you're never going to find a game, at least in my experience, having looked for years. I've never found a game that matches this. Thumbs up. Overall, what do I think? I think this is one of the most masterful games I've ever played. I think that it is extremely unfortunate that the people who made this game didn't try to do a second edition and remaster it and try to find a way to be a better grab in the public eye, because the mechanics and the play style are absolute. It's just the presentation that didn't pull it off. I think that this is an absolute must play. And I think that if your group has an opportunity to, go for it. But as far as buying, unless you're able to get 5 or 6 people who want to invest together, I don't think it's worth investing money. Maybe not even that much. If you find this for $120, hey, have 3 people for $40 a piece, drop it down. At least you're paying for a light game at that point per person. But I feel like a 6-person group, 5-person group, at least then you're getting it down to just $20, $25. And it's a little bit more acceptable to be like, hey, let's leave it on this person's shelf and we'll play when we have a chance. Well, today has been day 57, and we've been speaking about the name of the rose. You are speaking with the Meeples champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding in an Amazon link if I can find one for this game. It's unlikely, but you never know. Check back in tomorrow.